Welcome to this edition of Hindsight is Horrifying, the show where three mostly normal and somewhat cynical adults discuss life as members of the TV generation. Now here are your hosts, Darth Jada, Jason Mitchell, and Adam B.
Yes. Hello, everybody. And actually, this is going to be a cool trick because everyone at home is going to see a magic trick. Look. There's nobody there. There they are. They just popped into existence.
We're back. It's okay. Don't worry.
Don't be afraid.
That was entirely planned.
Any more than normal.
Yeah, especially with Mr. Aluminium.
That's what happened. See? It's aluminum foil.
I disrupted the internet here in the room.
It's like my favorite
his
song,
electrodes.
Have you guys ever heard that Weird Al's version of Royal by Lord?
No.
It's called Aluminum Foil. It's great.
Oh my God, I believe it.
It's really good. We are back. This is Hindsight is Horrifying. Season
Wait,
whatever.
is that the show we're doing tonight?
I think that's what we're doing tonight.
Oh shit, I was booked for something else. I gotta go.
Just fake it then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's what I do every night.
Damn. Damn.
Yeah, it's a show where the rules are made up and the points don't matter. No, wait, that's whose line is it anyway?
We don't know what we're doing.
This is a totally different show where we talk about movies and TVs. Shows, not TVs. We don't talk about the TVs.
Yes, we talk about the TVs.
We talk about actual television.
And everything is scripted.
Yes.
Nothing spontaneous here.
Sure.
We have a team of writers who they're not very good.
No, they're very
They're
poor
sitting in the
writers.
corner and they're really pissed off at all of us. So, anyhow, Hindsighters.
Yes.
Tonight we are discussing yet another episode that is designed to make our fellow podcasters cry.
Oh, yes.
And tonight was Darth's pick. It's her final pick in this round of fight. And guess what she picked?
No.
The Green Mile.
Yes, which is I have to admit I was kind of baffled because it's a really good movie.
But it does make you cry.
It does make you cry.
It's sentimental.
Yeah, especially when you realize that what's his name?
Michael Clark Duncan.
Michael Clark Duncan is no longer with us.
Yes.
And that's sad because he was only in his 50s, I think, when he died. He was.
We'll do the math.
Along with Mr. Noodle. You know who Mr. Noodle is?
That's true.
Yes, I do know who Mr.
He
Noodle
died
is.
of an epileptic seizure in 2003, I believe.
Speaking of which, so Mr. Noodle, so Del in this movie, Jason,
Yes.
I have to ask you, as a person from Louisiana, how was his Cajun accent?
For a movie, about average.
Yeah.
I mean, in no way, shape, or form is it going to sound. It's not realistic.
It's not going to pass
You gotta
muster
be
in
Cajun.
actual Louisiana.
I'll put it to you this way: I'm from Louisiana. I can't do that accent.
Right. Only Gary Oldman could probably do it.
Gary Oldman could do it.
57 to 2012.
Yeah, there you go.
So how old is that? I can't do
That's
the math.
math.
It's too much.
We'd have to take a break to do
Oh,
math.
go on the calculator.
Yeah.
It's okay.
No, doing a Louisiana accent. Woody Harrelson.
55.
Woody Harrelson did a good job in True Detective. Actually, most of the cast in True Detective did a really good job.
Yep.
Of that.
You're right.
That's probably the best Louisiana-based. Wasn't a movie; it was a mini-series or a series.
Right.
But that was probably the best I've ever seen Louisiana portrayed, most accurately. And the people actually sounded legit. You know.
Yeah, and I know you've never seen even so much as a scene of it, but True Blood, all their accents are such garbage on that,
Oh, I can
except for
imagine.
maybe like one character,
Yeah.
but one guy
I'm
sounds.
from Louisiana, y'all.
You
I
know-
ride my Piro to school with my alligators.
One of them legitimately sounds like Kevin Spacey from Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. I was born and raised in Louisiana, and I'm like, no, you're Kevin Spacey.
Everybody thinks that people in Louisiana sound like the cast of Gone with the Wind, and it
It's
does
not like that at all. No.
Because how many people have you? We're obviously based in Georgia, and how many people have you met in Georgia that sound like Scarlett O'Hara?
No.
Not a lot.
Not many.
Yeah, not many.
Don't worry, Rhett. It's just. And that's the thing I had to explain to my parents when I was like 14. I was like, it's funny, y'all sound so different. And my mom was like, what do you mean by that? I said, well, you have more of the Georgia twang and Daddy has more of the South Carolina
And your father
lilt.
was like, yeah, we sound totally alike. What is this you're talking about?
And Daddy
Hilton.
totally...
I was on vacation during the war.
No, Daddy totally understood that because my mom, I even had a boss, like when I worked for a local newspaper, my boss came in one morning after Rotary and he was like, Jade, does your mother know that she has a Southern accent? And I was like, no, she doesn't. And if you explain it to her, she will scratch your eyes out. For whatever reason, she doesn't like her Southern accent.
Never point out. I learned this a long time ago. Just don't ever point out to somebody how they sound.
No.
You cannot do it in a way that won't offend them.
Exactly.
You can't do it because it's sort of like how people hate hearing themselves in a tape recorder.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I don't want to know how I sound. I prefer to think of myself as Charlton Heston in my head. and if it's anything less than that, I'll kill myself.
No
Damn
wonder.
dirty apes.
No
It's a
wonder I have to listen to all
madhouse.
the episodes and get the pull quotes. That makes sense
yeah,
now. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's people just, it's because of this weird phenomenon that when you hear yourself, you're hearing it through your skull.
Oh yeah, Johnny Depp is the same way. He won't watch any
Yeah.
of his movies.
So when you hear yourself on a recording, it's never going to sound the same as how it sounds in your head because you're hearing it through this bony resonating thing,
Tis
and
true.
it drives people crazy. It's sort of like the Madame Tussauds phenomenon.
Do I really look like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Do
And
I
it-
really
it-
look
wax-
like that?
it
The
freaks
Wax
your brain
Museum
out.
lady
Yes.
Yeah.
hindsighters for those of you
They
who
know
don't
they're intelligent.
Who doesn't
people.
know Madame Tussauds?
people who haven't been to America, which is most
that's
of
right.
the people
About
who listen
the
to
majority
our
of our
podcasts.
fans.
So-
We're sorry.
British though?
Oh wait,
Yeah, it's not American.
what am I thinking?
You're
What's the
thinking of
one-
Ripley's.
Yeah, no, not Ripley's.
Oh.
What's the one? Isn't there one in Louisiana?
Well, we have a Ripley. Well, we had. That's a whole other story. I've told you that story about the
Okay, there are
ghost
multiple wax
Ripley's.
museums.
Anyway, let's talk about
The movie.
Green
So
Mile.
here's the
Green
synopsis for all of you hindsighters. Paul Edgecombe, Tom Hanks, walked the mile with a variety of cons. He had never encountered someone like John Coffey, Michael Clark Duncan, a massive black man convicted of brutally killing a pair of young sisters. Coffey had the size and strength to kill anyone, but not the demeanor. Beyond his simple, naive nature and a deathly fear of the dark, Coffey seemed to possess a prodigious supernatural gift. Paul begins to question whether Coffey was truly guilty of murdering these two young girls.
And this movie it's not obviously it's not a sequel to the Shawshank Redemption, but it is sort of a spiritual
A little bit,
sequel.
yeah.
It's Darabont directed both of them.
Right.
Yes.
They're both based on Stephen King
Yeah, I was gonna bring that
novellas.
up.
I
Yeah.
think they were short story. They were either short stories or novellas. I can't
Stephen
remember.
King wrote it.
And then Darabont actually went on to do a third one that was terrible and nobody watched it, called The Mist.
Hey,
is it-
Tom Jane's in that movie.
Oh, I saw. Is that where the mist came in, and
Yeah.
then he ended up shooting everyone except himself at the end?
Is that?
the
I
mist?
don't even remember how it ended.
It
I'm
was-
not giving you that satisfaction, gentlemen. Tom Jane is in that movie.
He
and it's
was,
perfect.
and he
in
was
my mind.
wonderful.
He's
See,
always
look, I mean,
wonderful.
I can tell you there are Jennifer Connelly movies that were garbage. You know how I feel about Jennifer Connelly, but
you
the
know what?
The Hot Spot was terrible, and I think that's the one where she's topless.
Never even heard of the hotspot.
I know of
no.
the hot spot.
Do you know who was in the Hot Spot?
never saw the
along with
movie.
Jennifer Connelly?
Well, you wished you were in the hot spot.
Don Johnson,
Ooh, really?
and it still sucked.
Oh,
That's how bad that movie was.
wow.
Yeah, it was awful.
So anyway, yes, Tom Hanks is, and I thought of you a lot, Jason, when I watched this movie because you said once that Tom Hanks is kind of like the leading man of your generation, like the
Tom
Jimmy
Hanks-
Stewart
Yeah.
kind of guy. Like no matter what picture he's in, you're gonna go and see.
Tom Hanks and Harrison Ford, to me, are
Yeah.
my generation's.
Mel Gibson. Speaking of Mel Gibson.
Yeah, Mel Gibson also. I could see where you're going with that. But yeah, no, you're right. No, Mel Gibson would go on that list too. Tom Hanks
you
is
would.
really the only one who's still acting.
Very relevant.
You
And
know, he's still
active,
making
yes.
movies. And in fact, I know Spielberg. I don't know if Tom Hanks is working on that with him, but Spielberg he's over in England right now, just built an entire replica RAF base.
Oh.
Like this huge set. I mean, it's massive. You should see the picture of this.
Kind of like how Tyler Perry is building that whole like studio downtown.
Yes, it's very much like Tyler Perry.
It's
Pretty
so
much.
similar.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, it's basically the same thing. So this is about like the Battle of Britain. And that's,
Mama's Place.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
the other one includes Martin Luther King Boulevard. So
Yeah.
there you go. Okay.
But anyway, yeah. But no, Tom Hanks is a guy who started humbly. In fact, before the show, Mr. B, you sent us a clip from one of his earlier works.
It was in Taxi.
A great show.
He was a classmate of what was his name? Ignatowski.
Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, but what was the character's name again?
Jim
Ignatowski. Reverend
Oh,
Jim.
look at these older fellas.
What do you mean? We're young.
Nothing.
Age is relative.
Nick at Night. You're
And
right.
anyway, by the way, I've got a date with someone named Sparky after this, and I'm
Yes,
looking forward to it. They say it's going to be very exciting.
In case anyone's wondering about what the hell is going on here, Mr. Brown, why are you dressed the way that you are today?
Well, the Green Mile is about capital punishment and how horrible it is. And of course, I don't want to underscore my disapproval of capital punishment, but nevertheless,
You're really making a powerful
I
point.
am making a powerful statement. I just have to do silly stuff.
Yeah.
And I apologize to anyone there who has been, euthanized
Punished.
or been electrocuted
Yes.
or attempted to be hanged.
If anyone has been executed and is watching this show, we mean no
We
offense
apologize
sorry.
officially.
Speaking of executions, South Carolina, and I'm hoping that I got that right. I'm like 90% sure it's South Carolina, but I saw this today. They're having an issue with a shortage of the drugs because
Right.
the one company that made the lethal injection drugs,
Was it a German company?
it probably was.
Yes.
In all
Yes.
likelihood.
It was German.
It was either Krups or
Bear?
Bear.
It
maybe.
takes this
Yeah.
aspirin.
Bear, the company that gave us the word heroin,
Yeah.
because they came up with it and marketed it.
What?
Oh yeah, Bear came up with that. They called it heroin because it made you feel like a hero. That's a true story. Look
I
it up.
just clutched my non-existent pearls. Well,
Well,
done.
weren't the Nazis? They were always stoned on something when they went into battle.
Oh yeah. They were.
Oh, that's why they were such great fighters. Yeah.
Amphetamines, go pills. Yeah. But no, South Carolina is faced with the issue that a lot of states who still have capital punishment are dealing with, where they can't get access to the drugs that were used in lethal injections. Some states have sort of been making it up as they're going along, literally. And, trial and error. We'll figure it out. Because here's the thing.
Foresight is horrifying. Oh my God.
But here's the thing, though. There's nobody who deals with this stuff. Electric chairs, gas chambers, lethal injection. Like, nobody does this stuff. So there's a documentary, an Earl Morris documentary called Mr. Death.
Okay.
It is a fascinating documentary about this guy who just sort of
Is it on
became...
Netflix?
It may be. It's about Fred Leuchter, who is this guy who just became the de facto go-to guy.
Dear God.
And anyone, if their electric chair was broken, they called him.
What's it called again?
Mr. Death.
Never worked a day in my life.
You find a job you love. Oh boy, here I go, killing again. No, but South Carolina, though, because they're facing this crisis, they have voted to reinstate firing squads.
Yes.
The firing squad's coming back.
Now, I thought I heard the guy requested a firing squad and it was denied.
Yeah,
Did they?
That's one of the reasons. I think that's one of the reasons why they're doing it. 'Cause
Please tell me he at least got a cigarette.
What? Come on! What message does that send to children?
What the?
Then you got to put the warning on. Warning. I watched.
Anyway, there's a movie.
Yeah, well,
So-
hang on, real quick though.
Okay.
It's a long movie. We got
It
plenty
is.
of
We got
time.
plenty of time.
Plenty of time.
I
As long
watched.
as y'all are hanging out. Okay.
I watched a great Netflix series on the Night Stalker, the Richard Ramirez, the killer.
Yes, I
California.
saw that. That was terrifying, wasn't it?
It was. And did you notice that before every episode, it had the explicit content warning, nudity and smoking?
Oh, okay. Send the wrong message there.
If you're watching a show about a prolific serial killer and raper of women and
Why
children,
is smoking the
why
thing
is
that you're
smoking
worried?
the one that goes in there?
Who knows?
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, so speaking of, capital punishment, I have to ask you, gentlemen, serious question. So there's the barbarism in this movie of witnessing an execution, the electrocution. Back in the day, you know, people used to witness hangings. Like, however somebody was being killed, they would actually go and see it.
It was a big event.
It was like entertainment.
Oh, yes, yeah,
which
of course.
surprises me.
Well, they didn't have cell phones. I mean,
like James Bond and Dr. No.
People watch executions every single day. In fact, on video games, they're killing people right and left. So it's far more barbaric
Not
now.
in video games. Okay.
deep content.
No.
That is deep.
In video games, okay, fine. Like there's.
But she's talking about actually going and seeing somebody get his neck stretched.
Yeah. So, like, one of the most disturbing things I ever saw was that poor journalist getting his head sawn off in the Middle East.
God.
Yeah,
I didn't like that.
And that's as specific
Did you
as
have to watch it? Did your parents force you to?
No, I just.
She was considering journalism as a major.
Sadly, I stumbled across it, and I was like, I saw that a journalist had, you know, been murdered,
Britta.
and I was like, oh, okay. And I saw it, and I was just like, I don't even know what to do with myself right now. Like I was so disturbed.
If you're listening to this during your dinner hour,
It rattled me. So that's the thing. Like, I don't understand the mentality of going to purposefully witness an execution. So I was talking about this with Josh when we watched it, and I was like, hey, so, like, you know, you don't know what all of these men on the Green Mile did exactly.
Nah.
You know what John's accused of. You know what Sam Rockwell actually did. Billy the Kid. He bit it, and he should have bitten it hard. Like, his character sucks. But would you, gentlemen, like, if something happened to somebody dear that you loved, would you go and witness? The execution.
If somebody killed, like, somebody that was close to me,
you'd go and see them get killed?
it's not going to see them get killed. It's going to look them in the eyes.
It's the closure? Is that what it is?
No, it's going to look the son of a bitch in the eyes and go, you know.
So it's your own method of revenge in a weird way.
It's
like,
pure revenge.
Oh, okay.
That's what the death penalty is. It's pure revenge.
No, I wouldn't want to see it. Hell, if somebody killed Millie tomorrow, I wouldn't want to see that person die. Like, don't get me wrong.
You close your eyes when you killed them, I bet.
I'd kill them myself. Don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't want.
Because that's the thing. It's like if your kid gets killed, father's justice. Well, I can't kill you myself, but that guy over there is going to kill you, and I'm fine with that. But
watching that happen is like that's why the mothers don't go and the fathers sometimes go. Is that what
nature is red in tooth and claw?
Oh my God.
Now, but here's the catch, though. Here's the catch. Having said that, as an attorney, attorney, as an attorney, and I can say that whenever I was younger, I was absolutely in favor of the death penalty. And then I became a lawyer and worked in the criminal justice system, and now I'm 150% opposed to it for one reason.
Unjustly convicted.
There's no appeal after they kill you.
Yeah, that's right. And how many people have been killed?
A lot.
Inadvertently.
A lot. Yeah.
You know, and they have the DNA test. It's like, oh shit, we killed him.
What are you going to do?
He's gone.
Oh, well, we'll write the family a check.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I mean, it's like giving a soldier a medal after he died. Okay, well, that's great, but you know,
Jesus.
Well, I was wondering if I was going to be in for a battle. I'm not a big fan of the death penalty for that reason. Also, there's too many times in the past, and let them rot in jail for the rest of their lives. That's even worse.
Exactly.
And then
it's a worse punishment.
It is.
Well, it's like speaking of the Night Stalker. You know, that was one of the things people were upset because Richard Ramirez got cancer and died. 20 years after he went into jail, and people said he died, and they were mad because they wanted him to sit in that box
for another 20 years.
years.
Yeah, how did that Chicago gangster die? The one who was beaten to death with like a sock full of
syphilis.
No,
a sock full of syphilis.
Band name.
A sock full of syphilis.
God.
Or a used condom.
You guys
one prophylactic.
Anyway, okay. Sorry. There's a movie. So
Blues
this
Brothers.
is where you really see where John Coffey looks like. So Michael Clark Duncan. It looks like he committed the crime of raping and murdering two small little girls, and especially during the Depression, he's a huge black dude, and so racism is working against him. And they're two little white girls, and he gets brought onto the mile, and he tries to tell Tom Hanks because he's not terribly articulate. They call him simple in the movie. And he says, I tried to take it back, boss, but I couldn't. And you don't understand what that means until later in the movie. Yeah. It becomes incredibly relevant. So you'll find out later that he has this truly supernatural gift where he can actually heal people.
James Cromwell, he's still with us, right?
I'll find out.
You'll need to check. I think he is.
I think he is. Yeah, I think he is. Well, and you know, that's the thing about this movie that's
who is like, what's his role in this movie?
He plays the warden, James Cromwell.
Okay, he's the warden.
He's also the father in Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's 6'7",
and
he's a big man.
Zephram Cochrane in Star Trek: First Contact.
Oh,
yes.
That's right.
Yes.
I remember that.
Yeah.
He's still with us. So here's the thing, gentlemen.
Good.
James Cromwell. Yeah, I'm glad.
You can call him Jimmy. That's what they call him on set.
So he's 6'7". Michael Clark Duncan is 6'5".
Damn.
And
he's 2 inches taller than Michael Clark Duncan.
And Dave, how big is David Morris? He's a big guy too. He's
David
6'4".
Morris is 6'4".
Yeah,
so,
6'4".
And Tom Hanks is what, 5'2"?
Well, let's find out.
They put heels on him.
Yeah. No, Tom Hanks is, I think, an average height man.
I think he's probably about 5'10".
And you know, I'm actually really upset. I realized that last year during the COVID kerfuffle, the great kerfuffle of 2021.
Kevin, what are you doing? I'm starting a kerfuffle.
Did either of you see the movie Greyhounds?
No.
I didn't either.
I heard it's wonderful, though.
Where the hell did it go?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it advertised on Prime, on anything. And I just was thinking
it just popped up recently. It's either on, it's on Amazon Prime. I just saw that. Yeah, so check it out. I'm going to watch it.
I really wanted to see it. And it's like, it just vanished. And that other movie, he did 2 movies last year that just poofed. That and News of the World.
Yeah, Tom Hanks is 6 feet.
Okay.
David Morris is 6'4", Michael Clark Duncan 6'5", and then Mr. Cromwell.
Jimmy.
I was just going to say Mr. Cromwell because he's quite a bit older than I am. He's 6'7".
Everybody is. Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I just graduated.
It's nice to be young.
You'll be in our shoes one day. Trust me.
Yeah. Aww. We'll be dead. So.
Exactly.
I was about to say,
we'll get the last laugh.
It'll be like MST3K, and I'll have like 2 skulls over your like puppets.
Which, by the way, everybody. Speaking of which, the marathon, the Kickstarter fundraising for the new season of MST3K is wrapping up. So please go and donate.
Yes, donate.
Right away.
They're I think $500,000 away. This is incredible.
How much they have so far? If they're $500,000 away, they must have raised.
They raised a lot of money.
$60,000.
They are at.
That's his buffering noise, hindsighters.
Well, the goal, you know, they have different stages of goals. You know, starting at 2 million, and then 3.5, and then 4, and then 5.5. They're up to $5.17 million.
That's a lot of money.
They are very close to the 5 million, and I can.
And Joel's involved in that too, right?
Yeah, Joel will be riffing again.
I love it.
And back to the movie.
So Bonnie Hunt is also in this movie.
We love Bonnie Hunt.
I love her. She's fantastic. She's an incredibly underrated actress.
Oh, so much. I loved her in Cheaper by the Dozen. I did. She was wonderful.
She's wonderful in everything she does. She gives 100% no matter
Cars.
She reminds me in this movie.
She's very pretty too.
Yeah, she's a very pretty lady. She was in Jerry Maguire. But here's the thing.
Melinda Dillon. She reminds me of Melinda Dillon, the mom from A Christmas Story.
I can see it.
Yeah.
She reminds me of her in this movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can see it. And she's just the patient wife, but they don't have any kids. And here's the thing is that hindsighters, in case you're not familiar with this movie,
try.
Paul Edgecombe, aka Tom Hanks, he's suffering a horrible UTI during most of this movie.
I'm crossing my legs now just thinking about it.
For those of you who have not experienced it, it's incredibly fucking painful.
As people in Boston would say, it's wicked bad.
Yeah, it's wicked bad.
It's wicked bad.
What they say up north.
Changing the subject very quickly. And wait, hang on a second.
I win.
Wait, hang on one.
Time for a break?
No, not just yet.
I've been drinking beer.
Oh, well, you know what? Let's go ahead then. Let's take a break.
We'll be back in about 1 second.
And we're back.
It's
and
good to be back.
I have a question for everybody.
Yes.
What have you guys been watching lately on the television?
The Green Mile.
Oh, I don't watch much TV. I haven't.
Okay,
while.
on the streaming services.
I watched a little bit of The Mandalorian the other day.
Okay.
It's a great show.
You did that
Jon
'cause I
Favreau.
asked you to.
Yes, you did.
Jon Favreau is my hero.
Yeah, okay.
Along with Pedro Pascal. My God, Pedro.
The one I saw was directed by Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, so I know which one you saw in that case.
And all of the Howard kids were named after where they were conceived.
That's right.
Yeah. That's from
fellow
Ron.
Arrested Development fans.
It's Ron Howard himself.
Ron Howard said that, okay?
Yeah, he did.
Rebel Alley.
And
Yeah.
Bryce, she brought back your gal from
Wait, what?
in the episode that Bryce Dallas Howard directs.
Oh, I don't know which one she directed.
Oh, she directed the one with the other Mandalorians. So she has.
Wait, is this season 2 or 1?
2.
Oh, I haven't seen season 2.
Oh, okay. Then you don't. Oh my God. Okay, then I won't spoil it.
Don't
Awesome.
spoil it. No spoilers.
I'll leave it alone.
I haven't seen season 2. I'm getting bad about that. Like,
No, it's a great show. You
I
you gotta
know,
finish it.
I know.
You remember how you bitched at me about Community for so long? Mando.
Believe me, I
All day.
completely, totally, 100% agree with you. It's like Stranger Things. I was the biggest fan of season 1 that ever was. I have literally never seen. They just released today the trailer for season 4. I haven't seen 2 or 3.
Sorry, sock was drooping. I had to pull it up. What a great cast this is.
It is. Let's
The
talk about
ensemble cast was extraordinary.
Yes.
I feel as though it probably could have been a little bit shorter.
Well, yeah, I agree. I think
I don't know.
that
It was a work of art to somebody.
that I think was a fact.
This lady here.
Yeah, I think that was a function of the fact that it was a spiritual sequel to Shawshank.
Yeah.
Which was a very long movie that I really don't think could have been neat.
No, that one could not have been cut.
And so I kind of think that they felt the need to make. We want another Shawshank,
Yep.
And so
Yeah.
it's got to be really, really long.
And you get your money's worth when you go to
you
the
do.
theater.
Yeah.
You really do.
I get that, but you need the character development in this movie, and that's what this movie is about. So you have Percy. We haven't brought him up once, and Percy needs to be talked
Percy.
about because he's the freaking worst. Percy is like the nephew of the governor or
He's the
something.
nephew of the governor's sister,
Yeah.
governor's wife.
Yeah.
Nephew of the
So
governor's wife,
he's-
which in
so
Louisiana, why? I
Pretty big deal.
suppose. Yeah.
especially since it breaks down to parishes and shit. Like, y'all get all complicated, especially when it comes to background checks. It's really, really complicated.
Yes, it's very complicated because instead of calling them counties, we call them parishes, and that's the only difference.
No, and actually, y'all charge more for
what?
For background services. Like when I'm checking your background check,
That doesn't surprise me one bit.
y'all actually charge more and you take longer.
That doesn't surprise me a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But there is one other state though. There's one other state besides Louisiana that doesn't call them counties.
Virginia,
No, they call them counties.
Pennsylvania.
Nope.
They definitely call them counties. I can vouch for that.
He knows.
I'm from Pennsylvania. I mean,
Alaska.
Oh,
What do they
that
call it
makes
there?
sense.
Boroughs.
Barrows.
Oh, okay. That
Yep,
makes
yeah,
sense.
boroughs.
Oh, don't they call them boroughs in New York City?
No, the boroughs are subdivisions within the city.
The city.
I'm about to slap.
5 boroughs.
Now, here's my question
Whatever.
to
I
you.
think.
And I know you know this.
Oh, shit.
I'll be
I
quiet.
don't know it.
I'll be quiet.
Could you
Why?
whisper it into my electrode?
Why is the electric chair? Who came up with that idea? And why?
You know what? There is a really,
You know.
there's a twisted history to this. And
It's bad that I'm laughing.
I know.
why are you laughing?
You'll find out when you
Enlighten
find
us.
it.
Darth,
Kind
no,
sir,
no, I want her
Dorothy.
to, I want Darth Jader to explain to us why why the electric chair is a thing and why that's funny.
Thomas Edison,
Yes.
he's the man to get
Thomas
us
Edison.
into this century.
But specifically, why did Thomas Edison invent the electric chair? Well, Thomas Edison wanted to prove to everybody
that D current.
that
DC.
that DC
DC
was
current.
deadly.
Because he hated,
Tesla.
yes,
Yeah.
Nikola Tesla. I think he used to electrocute elephants on stage.
Topsy the elephant.
Topsy the
Oh,
elephant.
that's what you were talking
Say
about.
that
Yeah.
Thomas Edison is the man to get us into this century.
And that man is me.
Which is kind of a dickish thing to do.
It's a serious. Well, he
It's
also.
horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, Topsy, to be fair, she did trample a lot of people, meaning at least 3.
And they deserved it.
Probably.
How
Kinda
about
like the
how about
orcas.
that guy in France that Edison sent his goons over to kill? Yeah, that was a whole other thing.
Okay, that I've never been able to verify, so I'm not going to touch that
Yeah.
one. But the point is that, yes, Mr. Edison did give us the electric chair.
Thank you,
And
Tom.
So, and that's just a barbaric way to die. And Jason...
There's not a lot of good ways.
I know, but that's what I was
I'd
about
go
to
the
ask.
firing squad.
Okay, I was about to ask.
Oh, firing squad.
What's the most merciful way to die?
Firing squad. I'd take that.
In my sleep.
Okay.
I mean, execution wise.
Oh, execution.
Execution wise.
No, seriously, like for other people, for every like.
I think the guillotine actually is the best way
Pretty
to
quick.
go. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but there's always that question of they would pick the head up to see
And
if it
see-
was, if it was still blinking a little bit.
like chickens with
Yes.
their nerves
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
activating. Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
horrible.
that made the show a little more exciting for the groundlings.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and that's another reason why Percy got his in this movie.
Oh,
So
we hate Percy.
spoiler alert, since it is a 3-hour-long movie, Hindsighters, just so you know. So we're not going to get through the whole thing. Percy discovers that when you go to the electric chair as, the person who's being executed, the merciful thing to do is to put a wet sponge on top of the...
And is that Percy
I
doing
can't-
it now?
It's so hard. No, that's Tom Hanks.
No.
Oh,
This is Tom Hanks,
okay.
where they're actually performing the execution. But Percy's sick. He's put in for a transfer
He's
for a
fed up.
better job, but he wants to be in front. Like, he wants to really witness somebody fry up close, and Percy's just so freaking sick. It hurts. So he discovers that, you have to wet the sponge in order to, bring the electrodes to
You want
the
that
person's
electricity?
brain
You want that electricity to flow through just lickety split.
as efficiently as possible, to be, as merciful as possible. Because, you're killing somebody already. You don't need to make it horrible.
Yeah.
Even more horrible.
Well,
So,
it's
but Percy goes out of his way with one of the executions and does not wet the sponge. So that the guy literally fries for almost 10 straight minutes.
He catches fire.
Yeah.
His head.
Yeah, and so I have to ask you, gentlemen, this is a morbid question, I know, so if you don't want to answer, I totally understand, but like the smell, since I can't understand smell, like how horrible would that be?
I will tell you what people have reported, which is, I'll put it to you this way. People have said after witnessing an electrocution that they had a very hard time being in the kitchen when somebody was cooking a roast.
It smells similar to cooking.
It's cooking meat.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
and later,
Yeah, it's
Tom
cooking
Hanks'
meat.
wife is making a roast for him in the movie. Oh my God, I could never have put that together. Oh my God, Jason.
Yeah,
Look at that.
It's horrible.
You learned something new today.
It's horrible.
I did. I'm
That's good.
sorry.
The execution in this one, there are two execution scenes in movies.
David Morris being a badass. Sorry.
This one is horrible. There's one that is actually worse. If you ever watched the BBC series Wolf Hall,
I probably won't. Hearing that it's worse.
well, it's only one scene. Damian Lewis plays Henry V.
Oh.
Henry VIII. Sorry, Henry VIII.
How dare you?
Yeah, very different Henry.
Get your shit together.
And when Anne Boleyn is executed, the scene, they somehow, you feel, because she's going to have, they bring somebody in from France who is an expert with a sword. And his whole job, his career is killing
chopping off heads, yeah.
specifically nobles.
Okay.
Because if you're a noble person, you didn't get the axe, you got a sword.
Okay. I didn't know that.
And
Didn't you tip the guy?
Yeah.
Or was that just with the axe? With the sword too?
you would tip hangman to make a big knot so
Right,
that the
right.
knot would break
What
your
do you do
neck
with you?
when you fell.
What?
Mess.
No, it's true. No,
They
it's,
used to
no,
tip-
Seriously?
no,
Yeah.
you know he's absolutely.
Oh
you
my
would tip them.
God.
If you
What?
didn't, if
Then they
you
would
di-
cut the tip of your head off, and then they would kind of miss and take your ear off. and
Mary Queen of
they would
Scots.
hack you
The
to
guy
bits
chased her
unless
all
you
across the
tipped him.
Tower of London.
Yeah.
He's literally chasing her with an axe.
Yeah.
No, but the hangman, you would tip the hangman, and what he would do is if you gave him enough money, he would make the knot really, really big, so that when you fell, it would break your neck and kill you, as opposed to you dangling there and slowly strangling. Yeah.
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 Like nearly headless, naked Harry Potter.
I don't.
No, I'm dead serious.
I
Like,
don't-
See, you're learning something new.
There you go.
oh
This
my
is a
God,
great
I didn't
program.
realize that was a real thing.
Oh, yeah.
Hindsighters, you learn
I'm
a lot
sorry.
here.
Tip the
I'm-
executioner.
And
Always.
hello, siento mucho.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, but in Wolf Hall, though, the scene where they execute Anne Boleyn, just the way they do it makes you feel like you actually see her. You know, she's walking up, she's kneeling down. The executioner is like explaining to her what's about to happen as a courtesy, and it's the most horrible thing you've ever seen, and it's not gory. It's not gory at all.
I don't want you to explain
Yeah.
it. I don't want to explain to me,
It's-
bro.
yeah.
I don't want that.
And it's just that sort of, you know, it's why that sort of subject in a movie just is so powerful, because you put yourself in there where you're just thinking, I'm sitting in the chair, they're putting the thing on my head, they're tightening it down, you know what's coming.
Right.
Okay, so not to interrupt you, Jason, but we have to talk about the star of the movie, Mr. Jingles.
Oh, by the way, Mr. Jingles is the reason why I didn't cry.
Really? You didn't cry when you watched this movie? I cried like 15 minutes in. I made myself cry, hindsighters.
Well,
I lost the bet.
spoiler alert, Mr. Jingles is immortal. So it's fine.
So is Tom Hanks.
Yeah, well, Tom Hanks is too, but that's like
Well,
a punishment almost.
They're not immortal, though.
Yeah, but for
Jingles
a mouse.
dies at the end, the very, very end.
No,
He
doesn't.
closes
He
his
does not.
eyes.
He does not.
How do you know?
Because he's breathing.
Okay.
He's cool.
Well, okay, different interpretations. He's still a pretty good run for a mouse, though.
Wow, no,
Yeah.
that was impressive.
You know,
He's
60-year-old
like-
mouse.
Even if he
Yes,
did,
yeah.
you know, well done, you.
But okay, so one of the prisoners. So what is his name?
Dell.
Yes,
Delacroix.
No, on Sesame Street.
Oh, Mr. Noodle.
Mr.
He's the
Noodle.
brother of Mr. Noodle.
Yes. So he is this Cajun guy because they are in Louisiana.
Oh, yeah.
Come to find, you see on one of the prison trucks, Louisiana, you know, state police or whatever. But Dell, he goes, I done tame me that mouse. Because there's a mouse that runs on the Green Mile. And let's explain the title, because we haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
The Green Mile is called such because when you're being executed, when you're walking to the chair, it's called the mile. But on this particular cell block, it's called the Green Mile because the floor is painted like lime green, which is why Darth Vader wore a green shirt today.
See, I wore orange because it's the new black, I've heard.
I only own 3 shirts, so.
He's got the whaley on it.
Oh my!
It's my favorite
his wife shops
ice
for
cream cake.
But
Oh, come on. You buy your own clothes?
No,
Exactly.
my wife buys all my clothes
Yeah,
for me.
Exactly.
What, do you buy your own clothes?
me, yes, of course I do.
Does Josh buy his own clothes?
For the most part, yeah.
Really?
Wow.
He gets to buy his own clothes?
Yeah,
Wow.
I
wouldn't even know. I haven't seen the inside of a clothing store in like 10 years.
When he comes home, gentlemen, and he wants to read a book or take
He can
a
do
bath
it?
or a nap,
Do you yell at him?
I let him.
What? What kind of girlfriend are you?
One without children.
Maybe
that'll
maybe it's
do
maybe it's the ring that does it.
It is.
You know?
It wrecks your life.
My precious. Clean the garage.
I mean, minus
That's
he
right.
did that without the benefit of a ring the other day. He did it all by himself. But anyway, so the Green Mile, it's called that because the floor is painted green. Excuse me, the whole deal. And you also come to find that the warden, so Tom Hanks's boss, his wife is dying of cancer. She has a tumor in her head that is inoperable. And we had we're how many minutes into the movie, gentlemen?
275, I think.
Yeah, we're like more than an hour into the movie. But you come to find, hindsighters, that John Coffey, the prisoner, Michael Clark Duncan, he has extraordinary powers to heal people. Mm-hmm. And he didn't murder those little girls.
No.
The reason why he said, I tried to take it back, boss, but it was too late, what he meant was that he couldn't heal them in time.
Right,
Because they were all dead. Like, going back to Princess Bride, they weren't mostly dead.
Yeah.
They were dead.
They were real dead.
He could not fix them. So,
I bet Ray could have fixed them with her force healing.
you're an ass clown.
Bones could have.
J.J. Abrams could have solved
Bones
it.
could have done it all
Bones
day
could have
long.
done it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, you know what I watched the other day? Speaking of Star Trek, have you ever seen the Saturday Night Live when
When they had the restaurant.
the restaurant?
I play that for my team all the time.
So good.
Yes.
I've never seen this. I don't know what you're
Sulu,
talking about.
what happened? We all get older, Con.
Well, the guy's choking. It's like, Bones, help him. Damn it, Jim. I'm a doctor, not a. Oh, okay.
I'm a doctor, not a pool man.
Yeah, totally.
We're out of Russian dressing, sir.
I have no idea what's happening.
It's back when SNL was like funny.
Oh, right.
And it was actually Shatner as Captain Kirk. So
Yes.
it was just, it
That was before my
priceless.
time, though.
Yeah.
So my team at work is going through some job transitions, right? Because jobs change, right? When you've been working for a while, and they're like, not happy about it. So I said, you're not the only person that had to go through a dramatic job change. So I sent them all the link to that, and it was the Starship Enterprise that had been converting it into a restaurant, and they were Captain Kirk. Yeah, can we have 3?
I ordered the Klingon.
I ordered the Klingon, and I got the Romulan. It's really funny.
All right.
I'll send it to you.
Yes.
Okay. Sounds
You'll love it.
good. But yeah, so Mr. Jingles, let's get back to him. He's very important
He is.
because he's not the reason why you discover why John Coffey can heal. Gentlemen, what is the reason we discover that John Coffey can heal?
Well, I believe Tom Hanks got a little too close to the cell.
He
Then
did.
John Coffey, being John Coffey, wanted to touch him inappropriately and touched him right in his
Nether regions.
area. And Tom got a little concerned, but he healed him. He healed his urinary tract infection.
Because how else do you heal a man, gentlemen, except by grabbing them by the crotch? That's the way I do it.
That's how I'm really feeling down, honey. Let me heal you.
Yes.
Exactly. So
My lower back's hurting. Let me heal you.
sort of like the one where the guy's taking the person on a tour of the hospital, and
what?
and they look in one room and there's a doctor and he's manipulating a man. And the woman on the tour is like, "Oh my God, what's happening here?" And, "Oh, it's okay. It's a medical treatment. It's a new medical treatment. It's perfectly fine. Okay." And they go to the next room and there's a nurse and she's on her knees and she's manipulating the man. And she's like, "Well, what is this?" And she goes, "Well, it's the same treatment but better insurance."
Oh my God. Exactly. So there you go. So John
Why am
Coffey
I here?
has
Yes.
supernatural healing abilities. And
But then once he heals him, he touches Tom Hanks on his penis.
He does.
His abdominal region.
I mean, he couldn't have had something else wrong with him.
I know. He had like
Yeah.
a trick elbow or something. This elbow's really
my
been
tennis elbow's acting.
I know. Let me touch you. No.
Well, at least it wasn't hemorrhoids.
oh God. But what he says when he fixes it, he says, "I helped it."
I just had my physical, by the way.
Oh God.
It's wonderful.
But John Coffey says, "I helped it. Didn't I help it? I just took it back." And that's when Tom
Yeah.
Hanks starts to understand.
What?
Because the thing that they don't really specify at first, you figure out slowly with the character development. John Coffey can only spell his own name.
Hey, it's Ben Folds. Oh,
And
no,
he's-
it's not. Sorry. I thought it was Ben Folds for a
And
second.
he's not super articulate. So he's simple. They describe him as such throughout the movie. But he can only spell his own name. And the way he describes healing people is, "I took it back."
He had,
Because
he had the power. He
Yeah.
just didn't know how he had it. He didn't know how long he's lived.
He is an immortal. He cannot
Yes.
die unless you take his head.
Yeah, even Gary Sinise at some point in the movie says it's like he dropped out of the sky, and especially during the Depression, it's weird. Even a guy of John Coffey's build.
I know how like serious this movie is, and so I feel bad that probably about half of the movie, I imagine George Clooney running across the screen, escaping.
Brothers.
Oh,
were right
brother,
there.
where art thou?
Yeah.
We're gonna execute.
Not seek the treasure.
We're gonna execute the Soggy Bottom Boys.
Oh my God. I am a man.
One of the greatest movies ever made, in my opinion.
Oh, is it? I have not seen it. I gotta watch
is.
it.
What?
I know.
Oh, brother.
John Goodman's in it. Like, it's so good.
Oh,
John
please.
Turturro's in it.
Have you seen The Babe? No, you haven't. So there you
Babe
go.
about the pig?
No, about Babe Ruth.
Oh, that's another good one.
Yeah.
But guess who else was in Babe? In this movie, from this
James
movie?
Cromwell.
That's right.
That's right. Yes.
Jimmy.
Jimmy Cromwell.
Jimmy Cromwell. He's wonderful.
He is.
I do
He's in
love
a lot
him.
of
You do
things.
need to watch. You do need to watch Oh Brother. You've seen other Coen Brothers movies?
Yes.
You've seen The Big Lebowski.
Yes.
Okay, that's
I've seen the one where he puts in the head and then kink. It flips a coin. Old Country of Old.
No
Country
Country
for Old
that
Men.
one.
Man.
That one's good, but it doesn't have an ending. So I don't.
Right.
But
All right,
it's
but
good though. Yeah.
Anyway, we digress. Proceed,
There's a movie.
Darth.
Yeah, with so that's where you find out when.
By
he
the way,
says,
there is no Cold Mountain in Louisiana. Just so you know.
And I was just about to ask Jason. It said WC on the bathroom.
Water
Water
closet.
closet.
No, I know what it means, but would it really have said that in the Depression in
No.
Louisiana?
No, it probably would have said shitter. No, it wouldn't. No, it would have
No,
said.
I'm genuinely asking because water closet is not a usual term.
I don't
for
think it would have said
America.
water closet.
No.
I really don't. I've never seen an old picture or anything. I've never read an old newspaper article. I don't think so.
Okay, I agree.
Also, masking tape had not yet. The packing
Oh,
tape had
that's
not
true,
been
yeah.
invented
Gentlemen,
yet.
here comes Sam Rockwell. So I have a story
Oh, tell us.
that I have to include because it reminds me of my father. So Sam Rockwell is one of the prisoners on the ward.
Back when he was in prison.
Yes, because he turned 21 in prison doing life without
Because
parole.
didn't your father shoot a man in Reno just to see him die?
Yes,
Okay,
Mr.
yeah.
Rogers did a hard time.
Then he put on his sweater
Yes,
and
then
hacked him to bits.
well, that's how he got to read to my third grade class. He had to put on the sweater in order to look innocent
Yes,
enough
it was
to
very
read to
nice.
us. Yes. No, but seriously. So Sam Rockwell is one of the prisoners on the Green Mile, and he's psychotic.
Shoot her!
Shoot her. But he's psychotic. He likens himself to Billy the Kid. He even has like a Billy the Kid tattoo. And one of the things that happens is he starts acting up so bad. Like he spits a moon pie into one of the guards' faces. He pees on one of the other guards. Like
Moon pies were very popular.
Yes.
Well, here's the thing. My dad loves moon pies. And
Have
so
you ever had one?
oh,
Yes,
yeah,
of
of
course
course.
I have.
Yeah.
We-
I hate them.
I'm not a fan, but I don't like sweets. I mean, look at me. Yeah, I don't like sweets. But anyway,
I don't. Look at me.
no, but the thing that Sam Rockwell says, because once he starts acting up real bad, Tom Hanks throws him into the padded cell. They put him in a straitjacket. They throw him in the padded cell, and he's like, "No, fellas, no. I'll act right. I'll behave. Honest engine. Honest engine." And do either of you know what honest engine means?
Let's see.
We talked about it a little off camera, but
We did, and I don't remember. I
was
wasn't
drinking a
listening.
lot, so-
Yeah. So tell us again, Jade. What is
That's my excuse for not paying attention.
okay. Yes, I
have a
repeat
hearing
myself
disorder.
a lot of the
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
So, honest engine, it's considered an offensive term now. However, it was a term that kind of derivated from when American white settlers first came to America and they would, trade with Native Americans. And that was the Native Americans' way of saying, instead of signing a contract, as it were, whatever, they would say, honest engine. That was their way of shaking hands and confirming that the deal was done. So that's a phrase that my dad grew up with that he no longer uses, hindsighters, just so
Thankfully.
don't go after my dad. Like, it's a phrase that he grew up with, and I heard him use it when I was very
If you
young.
want to come for the king, you better kill the king.
You better get through the nitrous first. Like, holy
Have you ever
shit.
Have you ever used the term? Oh, I got gypped.
Yep.
It's very
Yeah, but-
very offensive.
But that's about gypsies. Who
I
gives
know.
a shit?
Is that really where that came from?
Yes, the gypsies.
I did not know that.
See, once again, hindsight.
Yeah.
Is horrifying.
We're all learning something
Or
new.
the modern term pikeys. So
Well, that I know. So I didn't know about gypped. Okay, so now I know better than
we just lost the entire Travelers audience.
We did.
Yes, all the Eastern Europeans
Yeah.
have just turned us off.
Well, here's the thing, though. There's only one person in this room who is descendant from gypsies.
Is he wearing Whaley on his shirt?
That's me.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
my mom's family. Yeah, we're gypsies. Yep.
Well, see, I don't know where I'm
Yeah.
descended from.
You should do the DNA test.
I should.
You'll find out you're descended from someplace, and you'll go, "What?" Her? Either that, or it'll just say England, and you'll go, "Yeah, okay,
That makes sense.
all right."
Well, I had it like it's funny. I had an old boss, she's a bank teller, and her husband was like a sheriff's deputy. He took one look at me, and he was like, "She's Irish."
Let me ask you this: were you drunk at the time?
No.
Oh, wow!
It was during the day. I was just like
very perceptive. Then.
I was like, "What, Marco? Like, why?" And he
Because
was
she
like,
drinks a lot.
He said, "Your profile." Like when I turned sideways, he said it was my profile. He was like, "She's Irish."
Turn sideways.
I mean, she's Irish, all right.
I'm not.
And look, she's wearing an emerald color
you're
shirt.
wearing green, so there you go. See?
Oh,
Oh, here, look.
Whatever.
This is where he's giving him a handy.
Yeah, where he's solving
15
the
more
UTI
minutes of this,
problem.
and I'm going to have to ask you to stop.
He's such a big
I'm
man.
about to get mad.
Such a big man, but yet so gentle.
5 more minutes, and I'm about to get mad.
Oh, that's when he climaxed with the light.
It does kind of look like
It's
that.
very got the sexual
It's
undertones.
very sexual.
Well, and what's weird is that Michael Clark Duncan, John Coffey, keeps going, "I gotta talk to you, boss." Like, it is a little weird.
He knows.
He keeps calling him
He
back.
knows when someone's frustrated. You know, he hasn't been
Yeah.
with his wife for a while. Let me help you with that.
Oh my god.
How do you keep your guns that big?
I don't know. He's a big man.
Yeah, he's a
but
big-
But then once he takes it away, what is it? When it takes
He
it
takes it
back, it's almost like he releases. They look like insects
Yeah.
almost come out of his mouth.
Yeah, they're like no-see-ums.
Yeah.
Do y'all have those in Louisiana, Jason? No-see-ums?
We got them in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
And they're in Georgia.
Those little bastards.
No, they're definitely in Georgia.
Those bastards are everywhere.
We hate them.
Oh, okay.
We call them gnats in the north.
Yeah.
Oh, we call them no-see-ums.
we call them gnats. I've never.
Down
You've
at,
never heard no-see-ums?
I mean, I've heard the term, but I've never
Okay.
actually heard
you
anybody.
call them that too.
We call them gnats, but when I'm in Georgia, when in Georgia.
Especially down near
call
the
them
islands,
no-see-ums.
like
When-
Cumberland and Jekyll, we call them no-see-ums.
When I lived in Florida, we used to. I remember coming home and telling Elaine, "Okay, I'm about to open the door. Turn the lights off."
Yeah.
Because the door was covered, and you had to open the door and run in and close the door, and you'd look up on the ceiling, and
They're
the
all
ceiling was
over
just
the
covered.
place.
They're covered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like the locusts and the mummy.
Yeah.
God, they're
Yes, yeah.
everywhere. But that's what John emits after he sort of sucks up your illness and then emits it, and lets it go.
Yeah.
So, he just sort of helps
Wow.
people that
Based
way.
on a true story.
That man held my dick, and now my dick feels good.
It feels really good.
And then Tom Hanks proceeds to go home and make love to his
Yeah,
wife 4 times
Honey,
in one night.
you'll never believe it.
Not since we've been 19.
She's flooded.
She's flooded.
Yeah. So
He's going to test it out now. He went into the restroom. He's been suffering from a urinary tract infection, which is like pissing razor blades.
Yeah.
Trust me.
So
I've heard.
It actually deleted the scene where he drank a bunch of Dr. Pepper.
Ooh.
on account of he wasn't hungry but thirsty, so
Feel like I'm a Dr. Pebble.
I must have drank me about 15 Dr. Peppers.
So we're coming up to our second break. We've only got 30 minutes left to finish the movie.
It's okay. We will.
Okay.
It's all right. I've
there he goes.
The notes I
that
have
is the
pretty much say
that is Tom Hanks's O face.
Oh.
Oh, can a guy get some privacy in here? Jeez. And with that, Insiders, we're going to take a break. We will be back in approximately 1 second.
And we're back.
We're back.
We're back.
With Variant Beer, in case
Variant.
y'all haven't noticed, because that is our favorite brewery.
We were on the wagon for a while.
No.
We were experimenting with stronger things, and we've come back home
Yes.
to Variant.
As always. And Darth has a very special flavor that you've got to jump on while you can. It's called Splody. It has black.
It's called Splody?
I'm not even.
Oh my God.
not even
You're
going
right, Splody.
I'm not even going there.
I'm using that tonight with the wife.
Oh my.
And bang, and bang goes the dynamite.
And circle hits the square. But
Circle hits the square.
anyhow,
Oh my God! Did you get there?
you suck.
What a great ensemble cast this is.
Isn't it?
There's Mr. Noodle. I love Mr. Noodle.
With
He
Mr.
is a talented
Jingles.
actor, though.
That was my nickname in high school.
Well, your girlfriend
Mr.
called
Wet
you that?
Noodle.
Mr. Noodle.
Mr. Wet Noodle.
Yeah.
Aww.
Oh.
Not in high school. It was opposite in high school.
Yes. We called him Woody back then. I don't know why.
Because it was like math class. And
I'll take a 0 for the day.
Not getting in front of the chalkboard.
No.
Just not
Oh, my
doing it.
God. Do you remember those days? That was like nightmarish. I hated it.
if only we knew.
I can't even imagine what it's like to have a vestigial organ.
That just like wants to get out at all times.
It's not quite prehensile, you know?
It just it has a mind of its own, from what I
does.
understand.
Oh, totally.
It does.
Totally.
You wake up first thing in the morning and, hey, you're here.
And you hope your parents aren't there to greet you in the morning.
We have company.
Yeah.
God.
There was
Hello, Vicar.
I was watching it. Oh, you're a vicar now.
You just made me snort.
Hello, Vicar.
Yes, I am. I am indeed,
yes.
gentlemen.
You
I
are
am.
a lady of the cloth.
She's a high mistress.
Not
I
a
am
lady.
a high
Priestess.
priestess.
Sorry.
High
I get the two mixed up.
It's lady of not.
You gotta
lady,
calm down.
Not lady of the night.
I know you missed me on vacation, but you gotta calm down, big guy.
Proceed.
And so
Yes.
you're ordained in the Church of the
Church of Life.
Church of Life, which is a good thing.
Yes.
Life is good. We can all agree on this.
Yes.
Because it's not, any faith specific. I can actually perform, weddings.
Fellatio.
For,
I'm sorry. I had
Miracles?
To say it. Miracles.
not like John Coffey, and not. I can perform fellatio, but I'm not going to look at you.
But another question.
Oh God.
How long did it take you to study to get this degree?
Years.
Years, really?
Years.
Yeah, you've been.
It took like 6.5 minutes.
Oh, okay. I'm just curious because we all said that we wanted to become
well,
ordained.
the test has one question. It's what's your credit card number?
She's
I'm
registered in Vegas.
I'm ordained, but it's state to state, so that's how it works. Like some states, you have to actually provide your documents, prove that you're verified.
So Louisiana, you're good.
Yeah, and in Georgia, I'm good.
Yeah.
In North Carolina, not so much. Tennessee, I don't think not so much. Well, you can order your documents online for $40. So
Okay.
yeah, you do have to pay a little bit, but it's not something crazy.
So if I die in North Carolina, you've got to drag me across the border before you can bury me.
I'd pay the $40 to bury you wherever you want to
What
be
are you
buried.
talking about? Don't do that. Just
No.
drag me across the border.
Oh, because you want to be burned and put in a coffee can. That's
Yes,
right.
yes.
You don't want to be electrocuted. Shit. So okay.
After I'm dead, I really don't care.
That's why we have to put that special
Compost me.
clause in your will so that your woman doesn't murder me.
Oh, she knows. She's well aware of it.
Oh, okay. So she'd be.
She knows the coffee can.
relieved
No,
that
she-
I'm taking care of.
Oh yeah,
this.
she
Okay.
knows of the coffee can
'Cause
stipulation.
Elaine knows that I love her, and then
Yeah.
I'll take the best care of you as
Oh,
possible.
yes, of course.
Really don't care. I'm
Oh
Yeah.
my
dead.
God.
Don't give a shit.
Great.
After I'm dead, just chop me up, feed me to the fish. I
But
don't
you
care.
want to be disposed of at the Grand Canyon with a nice updraft.
That'd
don't
be
you?
nice.
That
That'd
would
be
be
nice.
fun.
Throw me
Please
in
don't
Nicolas
bury
Cage's
me.
face.
Down in the cold, cold ground. I'd rather have them chop me up and pass me all around.
You know, but the thing is, though, I think if you threw me in Nicolas Cage's face, he'd probably go.
That's a ridiculous request, Lynn.
I think you would.
He might like it, you know.
I want to be
think
thrown
I-
in Mel Gibson's face.
No, I think
That's
you'd
what I want.
apologize, and he'd go, "It's okay, it happens." It really, you would have no idea how often people
damn.
walk up to me and throw ashes in my face.
He's got so much dead people.
Yeah,
in
he's
his-
just.
that's why he doesn't get his brows done anymore.
Right,
he's,
yeah.
he's starting a collection.
He's covered in dead people.
Poor Nick Cage.
We love Nick Cage.
Of course. He's
We
wonderful.
love Nick Cage.
Yes.
Anyway, so Mr. Jingles, so we missed something very sweet a moment ago. So Percy, the asshole, and the thing is, all the inmates call the guards boss. Boss Howell, Boss Edgecombe, Boss whomever.
No, that
whatever.
is legit.
Standard.
That is legit.
Oh, it's a
Oh
real
yeah.
thing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
legit.
see, I've never spent time on the mile, so I wouldn't
no,
know.
just people of authority. We're called boss.
No, okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. So anyway, all the guards are called boss, and Tom Hanks is actually an incredibly kind. What's his official position?
Guard.
Guard.
Guard. Okay,
All of them
the
are,
lead
except
guard,
for Percy.
but he's the lead guard. It doesn't matter. So anyway, Boss Edgecombe. So Tom Hanks, he discovers this mouse called Mr. Jingles. And he becomes Mr. Jingles later because Dell, the Cajun inmate, actually names him Mr. Jingles and trains him to like move a little sewing spool.
Yeah.
And he plays fetch with it. He's like, Mr. Jingles, go get the spool. And yeah, there he goes. So
He's so cute.
He is cute. So Dell, he sees this mouse run by, and at first all the guards are trying to kill the mouse, and they're like, all right, I guess we gotta get rid of this damn mouse, but they can't find him. He's almost mystical. He's got powers. Like he doesn't, because he disappears into he disappears into the padlocked room, but through where? You never see. Like he just disappears magically. He's like he's like a freaking magician. But
then
he's like the Krampus.
But then
a little.
Yeah. He disappears.
a dark turn in the life of Mr.
Jingles.
He gets jangled. Jingle.
He gets his jangle wrong.
Who jangles Jingles?
Percy.
Percy.
Percy sucks.
Now, I will tell you, that is one inaccuracy in this movie, because I can tell you, growing up in Louisiana, Percy would have been killed.
Percy would have been killed even before he killed Mr. Jingles.
No, that's what I mean. Percy wouldn't have lived long enough. Percy pissed in too many people's breakfast cereal, which is an expression I heard growing up, and they'd have killed him. And there's a lot of places in Louisiana. It's like Jerry Reed's song, Amos Moses.
Tell your story. I'm going to tell the quote that Tom Hanks told, and then tell your story about your German Shepherd again. So Tom Hanks leans in on Percy, and he's like, you ever threaten a man on this block again, we all going to have a go. Job be damned. Because Percy's connected to the governor, and so he thinks he can pull all the shit, and it's ridiculous. So tell a story about your German Shepherd.
I'm
sorry to bring it up. I know it's a sad one.
I had a German Shepherd who was murdered. Mm-hmm. When I grew up, we lived in a house that was next door to a
bayou.
There was a bayou on one half, and there was a trailer park on the other. And the funny thing is, the bayou is actually not even, if you look on a map, it's actually called a ditch. It's called the Irish Ditch. And I have no idea. I've never been able to figure out why it's called that. But it's actually called the Irish Ditch.
Okay.
Don't know. But the trailer park, there was a guy who killed dogs. And I had a German Shepherd. And I was a very young boy. And he killed my dog. And then he was paid a visit by some people. I don't know who. Mm-hmm. His home was burned down. His trailer was burned down. He, I believe, met an untimely end.
Did
he wound up in the bayou.
He disappeared.
He disappeared.
He wound up in the ditch.
Never got a full and complete story off of that. But he would put dog food outside of his trailer, laced with rat poison. Mm-hmm. And he would just kill dogs.
And what kind of sick motherfucker? Like, I'm genuinely asking. Like, my God.
It's I have been on a sort of a research kick trying to find out the history of that property. Because I'm convinced that if you ever, there's a book called The Hunt for the Skinwalker, mm-hmm. which if you want a book to read that is scary, but like legit scary, read that book, because the stuff that happens in that book, the reason I believe it happened was because all that shit happened on this property.
Oh, wow.
Like there's a thing that they used to call the Predator, because it was like a shimmering person-shaped thing that would like attack people. That existed on this property. My brother was actually attacked by it. Yeah.
What?
Oh, there's a whole story there. There's an entire...
Oh, we've got to look into this.
There's an entire... And I have spent years going back trying to piece together the history, trying to find out what is it about this piece of property. And in fact, I recently had a kind of an interesting discovery, because when I was a kid, there was an incident where I went off by the bayou, and I was with a friend of mine, and for some reason, we were like 8 or 9 years old, and something just called us into the woods. We ran through the woods. Parents didn't know where we were. Everybody was out looking for us. Mm-hmm. And I remember being in the woods and seeing the furrows in the ground that looked like an old farmland.
Yeah.
But it was the woods. And I found an aerial photograph from 1950. There was no woods there. It was a farm.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm getting chills.
No, I actually found that. I actually found that this week. Yeah.
Oh no.
It used to be part of a plantation called the Oak Isle Plantation, and God knows what happened. But that's for another day. We can get into that.
That can be a whole other episode.
That's a whole other
honestly.
episode. Yeah.
So what happened right now is that Dell has trained Mr. Jingles, and it's so sweet. He loves Mr. Jingles, and he's just got this simple dream of Mr. Jingles becoming a circus mouse and Mr. Jingles making him rich when he gets to leave the mile and
Being friends with Dumbo.
Yeah. Oh my God. No. Yeah. God, you beat me to it.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, Dumbo the Great. But so Percy, the ass clown of a guard, stomps Mr. Jingles.
Like squishes him.
Yeah.
Literally kills him, and John Coffey goes, "Give him to me, boss. Like it might not be too late." And that's where I sort of thought of Princess Bride, honestly, because your friend there is only mostly dead. He can be recovered, like it's okay. And so John takes him, and apparently, and this is the only thing I don't understand, because with Tom Hanks, he grabbed him by the crotch. He didn't, but everybody else he kind of kisses. Like even Mr. Jingles,
I think
puts
that
his
was
mouth
just
to him.
that was a little. That was for him.
Yeah.
That was.
Okay,
That was.
yeah, I don't know.
You know,
I don't know, but
Come here. Come here.
yeah.
That would be really suspicious.
Well, with the mouse and with the wife of the warden, because the warden's
Yes.
wife is dying of the tumor, and he fixes her by
Kissing her.
and it's
on the lips.
Yeah.
Which was forbidden in Louisiana back then, I bet.
Pretty
yeah.
seriously
Yeah.
forbidden.
Yeah, especially as big of a fellow as it was.
That really wasn't the issue. I can tell you some stories about that too, but
And
we
Yeah.
won't.
We won't get
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah.
We grew up in the South. We don't need any more of
Yeah.
that. It's just
He
but
didn't.
No, I'm a
true.
Yankee.
Yeah.
He's a Yank.
He's a carpetbagger.
Yeah, that's right. I come down, I take over this podcast.
Damn carpetbagger.
Yeah.
Taking over our real estate, dating our women. Oh my God. Anyway, no, but I do have another.
Damn it,
personal-
Shocky.
You know, but so the cornbread. This is something, because hindsighters, this is something that I have not mentioned. This is the first movie ever, back when you could go to the movies.
Yes, I remember those days.
This is the first movie ever that made Darth Vader cry.
Oh.
In
I can see
public.
that. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
And I'm talking like Titanic, Jason's favorite movie in the world.
Did you
Came
cry?
out. Nope.
Oh, I didn't cry.
Didn't
Titanic.
cry
Did you?
during
No.
Titanic.
I cried because my shoulder was hurting so bad.
Yeah, because you were on a date with that girl.
I was in the fucking front row doing this for,
I know.
I better see boobs at the end of this. And I did.
Yeah, there you go.
Happy ending.
For at least one person.
The one that counted.
So I see Titanic and
Yes.
nothing. It was a sad movie. I sympathized.
Terminator 2 with the thumb.
I didn't see that one in theaters. I was a little
Juvenile. Too
out of-
Oh, yeah,
juvenile.
just keep going.
Yeah.
So I see The Green Mile. I must have been, it was 1999, so I would have been about 11 when this movie came
Ah.
out. And it made me cry like a goddamn baby. Like I couldn't get my head around the injustice of John Coffey being innocent and the mouse dying, and then they bring the mouse back. So that's the amazing thing. John Coffey does breathe life back into the mouse.
Yeah, they don't make you wait too long.
No, not on the mouse. But John, what kills me is that he just... Sorry, my cord is being a little weird. Sorry, hindsighters. John just accepts his fate.
Well,
There's a longer story to that.
John doesn't want to deal.
I can't get this straight.
Oh my God. Are we getting this?
We're getting it.
Oh, good.
Are you good?
So, yeah, I'm all
Let's
right
get
now.
all of that.
Embarrassing
Supposedly.
yourself. Just embarrassing yourself.
I quit.
John, it's sort of the curse of the empathetic,
Yeah, he's the ultimate empath.
When you can feel other people's pain, it's,
It sucks.
Yeah.
It really, really sucks.
And at a certain point, you're just, it's
Put
like
me out of my misery. That's what he wanted.
welcoming death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
And we get to the point where Del is gonna die, and Del's whole wish. So Del's the one that done tamed the mouse, Mr.
Yeah.
Jingles, and the guards even give him this nice little fantasy of like, oh well, because even Tom Hanks is like, well, I'll take the mouse off you, Del. It'll be all right.
Look at
And
that lightning.
Yeah,
It's
and
so good.
That is so pointed, though. It's like he's about to be electrocuted to death. My God, we don't need lightning and thunder in the background. Jesus,
I'm telling you, I would just ask one of the guards, dude, can you just shoot me? Just come up behind me and just put a bullet in my head.
Just do
You know?
it, please.
I mean,
Be merciful. That'd be great.
the problem is then they'd have to clean up the mess, and they don't want to do that. So,
yeah, that makes sense. But isn't there as kind of as much of a mess to clean up after you electrocute somebody?
Well,
not that I really want to
yes
know.
and
but,
no. Yes and no. Most of it is inside of your clothes.
Because I know they're all like roasted where the, not helmet, but like, what do you call it? The cap? Like,
Cap? I don't know. Yeah, I don't.
And poor John. Like that's the thing about John. He's scared of the dark.
Yeah.
When he first comes to the Green Mile.
Oh, he's got the mouse on his shoulder.
Yeah.
That makes me want to cry. That's what's so bad. It's the animal that makes me want to cry.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
Me too. Like, seriously, if somebody came after Millie, and fucked with her like that, oh my God, the vengeance.
Get this. This is the coolest thing. And this reminded me of it.
Go for
Outside of our house, Elaine has, she has plants and everything on the deck, right?
Uh-huh.
She hung up two, their flower baskets, but they kind
Did
of...
a bird set up a nest in there?
Yes. And two birds. We saw the female bird was in there, and the male bird was coming and bringing in twigs. And she was, we named them George and Gracie.
Oh, nice.
Aww.
George and Gracie, and she has 2 eggs.
Aww.
And it's been
Oh my God.
it's been almost 2 weeks. We're hoping this weekend that the eggs will.
Don't you let anything happen to those birds,
We're not
Jason.
letting anything happen.
I want pictures.
Yeah, well, as long as it doesn't bother them. That's the thing.
Fair,
Yeah,
fair,
yeah,
utterly
yeah.
fair.
Because
Okay.
I wanted to get pictures, but it's the funniest thing because we go out on the deck and they're in this little flower
Can you
basket.
take pictures through the big bay window?
You can, but the way she's
good ones.
the nest is sort of up like this.
I never spent any time at Jason's house at all, hindsighters.
Yeah,
Clearly.
But no, George and Gracie are about to have 2 babies.
Nice.
And according to they're mourning doves, and according to the internet, once they find a nest, in a year they supposedly will have like 4 or 5 broods of 2 each. Yay. So we're hoping that she's going to have these 2 babies
and come back.
And
That'd be nice.
The poor thing though, because it was raining all week.
Yeah,
And
it's been a really rainy week.
And we're looking, and
She's
she's
drenched.
sitting in there going,
no.
Poor thing.
And I keep saying, I said, we're going to find little bottles of Chardonnay. Empty little bottles of Chardonnay all over the deck.
Mommy needs some wine.
But I'll let you know. I will try to get pictures. But
I'll be fine with updates.
Yeah.
Pictures are not necessary.
We are hoping that this weekend we'll have 2 little baby birds.
Aww.
Yeah, right there, just
I'm
on the
going
deck.
full Annie right now.
I know. It's the sweetest
That's
thing.
great.
It really is.
Oh, George and Gracie.
George and Gracie.
Let me know what their babies' names are.
And you know what? We can name them. We can come up with names for the kids.
Let's think about it.
Yeah.
I want to give it some thought.
There should be because they have 2 eggs at a time, apparently, according to the internet. Mourning doves have 2 eggs at a time, and they'll have about 4 or 5 broods of 2.
Yeah,
So we've got great 4 or 5 opportunities.
Okay.
2 names apiece. So
Sacco
and Vanzetti, whatever,
All right. I think it's fair since you already named the
Charles
Mama
and
Daddy
Squeaky.
There we go.
Sorry. I was thinking Sacco
He already
and
did
Van.
it.
Yeah, I
So
did it.
Charles and Squeaky, I'm okay with that.
No.
No?
That's not going
You
to
don't know who Squeaky is?
Squeaky Frome.
Yeah, I know who Squeaky from is.
Okay, so she's in on it.
Okay, all right.
She's all over it.
Isn't
yeah.
she out and about now? Wasn't she up for parole back in the 90s?
So he does know who she is.
She does know.
She
She knows who she is.
God, what is your problem?
Keep drinking, buddy.
What happened? What did I say?
You said he.
Did I really? Oh, damn it. I'm going to have another sip. Maybe that
Thank you.
Bring me she knows who she is.
But another bummer / okay point in this movie, Gary Sinise shows up. He turns out to be the defense attorney of John Coffey.
Right.
I want Gary Sinise to be my lawyer if I ever get... I want Gary Sinise.
I want Gary Sinise over you.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Oh, no, totally.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
He plays a sick bass, too. The Lieutenant Dan band. He could play a sick bass at my trial.
but if I had the choice between Gary Sinise or Andy Griffith... Andy. I want Andy.
Oh, you know.
No one's convicting.
All right. Got it.
Come on.
But-
Come on, it's Andy.
This movie made me sad in so many layers. Like, not only was this the first movie that ever made me cry in public, which I was not about, this movie also made me cry today because Gary Sinise talked about his mongrel dog, like his mutt of a dog.
That was a tough story to hear.
That mauled his child. Now, hindsighters, we've talked about it a little bit, and not nearly as bad for Darth Jader, but I almost had my thumb taken off by a dog in the last 2 years. And it was horrifying, and it was terrifying, and, like, one thing that Josh told me, he was like, you know that dog has to be put down. And I was like, what? Why? Like, and I was panicking. I was like, no, really? Like, and he was like, sweetheart, That's what has to happen. And I was just like...
Did Josh blow his brains out?
No, he wasn't there.
Okay.
The dog got picked up by the county and
Son
he got
of a
put down.
bitch.
And I was just... I feel bad to this day for that dog. Even though he was the one who bit me and tried to tear my freaking thumb off. Like, it sucks. And
I can't watch this scene.
yeah, this scene is horrible. So, hindsighters, I'll walk you through it.
You describe it while we avert our gaze.
Yes. So what's happening is...
I feel like talking to my kid and going, it's a movie. It's an actor. It's a special effect.
It's
He's
not
got
real.
There's pyrotechnics. There's a guy going and pressing a button. And it,
Yeah.
you know.
Sparks.
It's Dell being put down, unfortunately. And Percy is such a perverted, sick motherfucker. And there's no other way of
He's a
saying
serial
that.
killer.
He wants to see somebody fry.
He's a serial killer.
Yeah.
He is. If he was not a prison guard, he would be out killing people.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's a bad type of man. So Dell goes to get killed, and John offers to watch Mr. Jingles. He offers to look after the little mouse while Dell is being electrocuted to death. And unfortunately, Tom Hanks is trying so hard to get Percy transferred because Percy's looking for a bigger and better job. He's like, all right, you can be out front, as it were, during one electrocution. If you fucking move on after that. Like, they're so sick of
The
him.
next day, you're out of here.
Yeah, I want you out. And what Percy does is so messed up, it's not even funny. He doesn't wet the sponge that goes on top of Dell's head, and Dell fries for like 10 straight minutes. It's horrifying.
The reality is that back then, what they would do is they would actually turn the switch off.
Well, the warden tries to get him to do so.
Well, they would like do it over and over again
But why?
until they got it right.
Like, they
Oh,
would
it's
have gone
horrible.
back and added the sponge? Like, they would have...
There would have been a doctor there.
Well, there is a doctor there.
And the doctor, after there's a prescribed amount of time that the switch is on. Switch goes off. The doctor goes and sees he's still alive. They would hit the switch again.
And even
Over
the folks...
and it's inhumanity to a degree that
of insanity.
Yeah.
Like, it just... And even Tom Hanks, like, what they say is that, like... Because the warden's like, God, just turn the switch off. And he goes, no, man, we've just got to finish it. We've got to let him die. And it's horrible. And meanwhile,
well,
John
I'll put it to you this
Coffey-
way: in the South, if it was a dog, if that was a dog, they'd shoot it,
Yeah.
Because it's a humane way to
put
do
it out of its misery.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And meanwhile, John Coffey, like, the whole mile is lit up. Like, the lights are exploding because John Coffey is such an empath. Like what you said, Jason, that everything's exploding. Because when he goes through
this is horrible.
Yeah, and even the people who came to watch the guy die.
They ran
are like-
out. They couldn't get out because the door was like locked, right?
Yeah, and people were vomiting. Like, it's just a horrible scene. The guy sets on fire. It's so horrible. Like,
Yeah.
why did I pick this movie? My God. Like, what did I...
You
'cause
wanted to make us cry.
You picked it.
I did, but see, the thing is, I haven't seen it for like 20 years. I saw it when I was 11.
I guess it is 22 years old now. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was made in 99. Or
Yeah.
it came out in 99.
Yeah.
But Sam Rockwell, so that's what you come to find about Sam Rockwell. That's the really crazy thing about him. He's genuinely evil. The Billy the Kid guy. He, like, John Coffey can't even stand him. And John Coffey is nice to everyone. So there's this scene. It's the cornbread scene.
Yeah, and I like
that stand out to y'all?
Tom Hanks makes the son of a bitch look.
Oh, Percy,
He turns Percy's. No, you.
He was like, "You wanted to see this.
You look,
turn around,
you son of a bitch." Yeah.
He made him watch Dell die because what Tom Hanks does, he notices that Percy doesn't wet the sponge, and he picks up on that because there's always a trail of water.
It's right before.
He doesn't pick up on it soon enough. But he misses the trail of water that should lead up to the electrocutioner's chair, and he just misses it. But meanwhile, Sam Rockwell is in his cell, and he's like celebrating the fact that Dell. He's getting off on it. Yeah, he's getting off on the fact that Dell is dying a ridiculously violent death. It's horrible, and he was celebrating that Percy killed his mouse.
Let's talk about what happens to Percy because we are very close to running out of
time. We are.
Let's wrap it. This is awesome.
So John comes around. He heals the mouse. So there's a bit of John in the mouse. There's a bit of John in Tom Hanks at the end of it. And that's why they live so long, because at the end of the movie, you come to find that Paul Edgecombe, is 108 years old.
And his penis is 120.
Yeah.
Thanks to John Coffey.
I'm so old, but my penis works like a
It works like a charm.
Meanwhile, Mr. Jingles is
and Mr. Jingles is nodding his head.
Yeah, Mr. Jingles is still around. I think he's still alive.
Yes, I think so.
He's a 60-something-year-old old mouse, so he's been around for a hot minute.
He's lived a good life.
Oh, Chris used to keep mice. But
okay, so James Cromwell is furious.
Yes, because the execution gets bungled, and Percy's sitting there because they finally ring Percy's bell.
They whack him good.
Yeah, they hit him smack in the mouth, and he's bleeding, and Cromwell's like, "What the fuck happened?" And he's like, "I didn't know the sponge was supposed to be wet." And he was like, "What the hell? There's vomit on the floor. There was panic. What the hell is your damn problem?" And Tom Hanks covers for him. But then what happens? John Coffey comes around and transfers, he fixes James Cromwell's wife, who's dying of the cancer.
Which was a pretty heavy fix. She was really sick.
Yeah, she was sick of a tumor the size of a lemon, he says, in her head, and it was inoperable. It was too deep for them to operate on. And so John Coffey fixes that, absorbs it into himself, and won't exude the insects.
Yeah.
He won't let the sickness out of himself. Until Percy gets to his cell. He inserts the sickness into Percy. Percy then murders Sam Rockwell.
He shoots him with a gun.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Everybody gets theirs in this movie.
It's a real relief.
Yeah, well, they're horrible.
And we should probably talk about the fact that this is it's a Stephen King story.
Yeah.
It's so interesting because there was this period with Shawshank and with this where there were these blockbuster, very big movies that were based on Stephen King novellas, but they weren't Christine and Pet Sematary and The Shining. They're still supernatural. Well, Shawshank is not supernatural.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was a really weird time because it was like Stephen King was showing that he could write these stories that weren't classic horror movies, horror novels, big pot boilers, as they called them.
Right.
And then that kind of went away. And it leaves me sort of wondering, what else does Stephen King have that could be made into a movie that isn't Christine or It, or all the stuff?
Something blockbuster.
Which frankly, I don't care for. I mean, this or
Lamp. Ooh.
Exactly. No, exactly. I mean, if you look at everyone was creaming their shorts over It. Yeah. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. It was stupid from the beginning. I didn't care about it. It was a bad TV movie.
And what's crazy is that it's 15,000 pages long.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
Like many of his books are.
Exactly. Yeah. Pot boilers.
Did he do The Stand?
Yes.
Oh, he did The Stand also. Okay.
And The Dark Tower and all that stuff. But you look at these movies and it's like, my God, the man's got the potential to make stuff like this. Yeah. Dude, write stuff like this.
Yeah.
You'll go down in history as one of the greatest writers ever. And the only other example I can think of is Stand By Me.
I can see that. And
Which-
it just...
Because Stand By Me doesn't have anything supernatural in it.
Well, and it's funny
No.
how celebrity affects that. So you come down to Stephen King being a celebrity author. Like, J.K. Rowling, who made, the Harry Potters, like, great. But she came out with 7 books. Okay, a few more than that, I'll admit, but less than 10 books. And somehow her celebrity just exploded to the point where she was making more money than the Queen of England.
Well, I want to see a J.K. Rowling book because she's a talented writer.
She is.
I want to see her, not Shawshank or Green
Well,
Mile,
yeah, but like something
or,
different. Like
but something that's a serious. Give me and it doesn't have to be 1,500 pages long.
and she could totally do it because she was homeless. Just like with
absolutely-
Tyler Perry. Like she was
Daniel
living in a
Craig.
van down by the river.
Daniel
Like,
Craig was homeless.
Daniel Craig was homeless?
Yep. Tom Baker.
A lot of
was also
Oh my
homeless.
gosh.
He was homeless.
Yeah.
That's where he got his scarf.
All right.
You know where he got his scarf?
No.
When they put the order in, somebody moved a decimal. They screwed up.
Okay.
And so the prop maker made the scarf,
Oh my god.
and it was huge. And Tom Baker was like, "No, I love it.
Yeah.
Let's do it." Here it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
right.
Serendipity.
So, I don't even like that movie.
Nobody
So,
does.
I know.
Take us home, Jade.
So hold on, we have to talk about the cornbread scene before we time out. So, thanks to John grabbing her husband's penis.
Wait, John grabbed her husband's penis.
Yes, Bonnie Hunt cooks him a batch of cornbread.
Right.
So, Tom Hanks brings the cornbread to John Coffey on the Green Mile, and he offers it to him, and he says, "This is from my missus." He says, "Oh, your missus was pleased?" And he goes, "Yes, several times." So it's all good in the hood. And
Yes.
Was it popping?
this
It
was
was popping.
cornbread popping. But so Tom Hanks offers him the cornbread because he healed him. His wife is grateful.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Anyway, so he gives him the cornbread, and Dell, before he dies, he says, "Oh, I'd like to get me some of that cornbread, John." And John always defers to Tom Hanks, and he goes, "It's yours, John, to do with as you please." And this was a scene that just stuck
yeah.
with me from the first
It
time I
really
watched the
is.
movie. This is
Yeah.
why I have to watch it.
Yeah.
Or this is why I have to talk about it. So Tom Hanks, "Yours, John, to do as you please," and
Yeah.
he goes, "This is for Dell and Mr. Jingles," and and he passes it off and he shares, and it's very kind.
It's Christ-like.
It's
Yeah.
very sweet.
Yeah.
And then Sam Rockwell, and this is what we have to talk about before we wrap it up. Sam Rockwell's like, "I'd like me some of that cornbread too. How about you share with me?" And he was like, and he looks at Tom Hanks, "As you please, John.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hang on to the rest of this cornbread," and
Yeah.
he won't share with Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
So ultimately, John Coffey, that's the only negative thing you see happen is that he gets Percy put in a mental institution,
Yeah.
and he gets Sam Rockwell killed.
John has, at the end of the movie, he has agency. And I think that's an important development because you feel that John is sort of being pulled along, but then
Life just sort of happens.
it happens to him. But then he has this agency of himself. He
Yeah.
has this executive function, as they would say, and I like that because it's very Greek. It's very Old Testament. It's very, classic literature where it's the character saying, "Now I can choose for myself, and I choose death."
And yes, he did. And you know
Yeah.
what he said about Percy and Sam Rockwell? He goes, "I punish them bad men. I punish them both. You can't hide what's in your heart."
Right. Yeah.
And it's so true. And what's really great is the arc with Percy, because at the beginning,
Yeah.
or sort of the beginning, because it's like a 4.5-hour movie.
Tom Hanks, it's a long novel.
Tom Hanks does tell Percy, he's like, "You ought to treat this place like a mental institution." And then Percy winds up
In a mental institution.
Yes.
Payoff.
And,
Exactly.
what's the book that he's reading?
I don't remember.
How to
I didn't
treat
notice-
mental
yeah.
patients, and he has porn inside of
Yeah.
it.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I knew the porn, but I didn't know that he was supposed to be. Oh my God!
That's the thing. There used to be this concept in movies called setup and payoff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
That's true.
it was set up, and the whole movie is there's so many different setups and there's so many different payoffs,
Yep.
and that leaves an audience walking out of the theater feeling satisfied.
Satisfied, of course.
Can I just say, by the way, on at least the last time I saw it, it was free to watch on Amazon Prime. There is a Werner Herzog documentary called On Death Row.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, no.
No,
Oh,
it
no.
is fascinating because it all centers around the case of a guy who killed somebody, and the particulars of the case aren't really important. What's important is he talks to people. He talks to people who worked on death row.
Oh, that would be interesting.
He talks to wardens. He talks to the religious people. He talks to all these people, and it's a fascinating examination of what it really is on death row. And of course, it's Werner Herzog, so it's brilliant, obviously.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. That's
Well, and I saw one on Netflix that was similar with guys on death row. What they'll do just to get a simple upgrade,
Yeah.
meaning like better food or access to a television, whatever the hell it is.
Look at go on the internet and look up last meals, the things that death row people have requested for their last
God.
meals. It's
Stuff that Darth Jader cooks because John Coffey was like, I'd love me some cornbread.
no, I mean
and
it's like
some meatloaf.
yeah, people saying I just want a bunch of ice cream.
Yeah, that and
Give me just a few things of ice cream.
yeah.
You know,
So
I want the lobsters so I can crack them and throw them at the guards and get away.
okay, Louise. but
For
you
your
come,
super crimes.
but
I do have a quick question. Are we having one more break before we close it out?
No, I think we're actually.
I'm not going to make it.
okay, let's
okay.
have a break because
Just
I've
one
got
more.
a couple more.
Quick
points,
break,
so.
and then we will be back in
Thank
about
you.
one urination. And the pee break is over.
It took forever.
Wow.
God, how much
Sweet
beer have you
mystery of
drank?
life at
Too-
last I found
too much.
you.
All of the beers.
Yes.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up here, hindsighters.
Elizabeth Olsen. Oh no, it's not.
No, it's Ron Swanson. It's Tammy.
Oh.
It's Tammy One from
Oh, okay.
Parks and Recreation. No,
Okay.
Nobody. Okay, whatever.
Nope. Nobody.
I
No?
saw it, but it didn't leave a long-lasting memory.
Oh, that's a bummer. That's a great show.
I need to watch it again. You know,
It's a fantastic show. It's on Peacock. Check it out. Anyway, so what we find out, hindsighters, is that John Coffey is obviously innocent. Who did the crime, gentlemen?
Rockwell.
Yes, he did.
Rockwell.
Billy
I
the
hate you.
Kid, that fucking ass clown. Like he was hired on as a hand at the girl's estate, and he raped and murdered
But he
both of
pitted
those
them
little
against
girls.
each other, if you recall.
He does, and
Which is the worst.
he was using their love for each other against the other to keep them quiet. Like, if you say something, I'm gonna hurt her. If you say something, I'm gonna hurt her. Like it. He deserves to die in the pits of hell, and he died pretty
Well, he
hard in
did-
this
yeah, he
movie.
dies.
So I'm all right. I'm happy.
You know what? He dies hard enough.
He deserved to die harder
He-
than John Coffey did. I can tell you
Yeah,
that.
but he dies hard enough. He dies. That's what
Yes.
counts. Yeah.
That's what counts.
Yeah.
So, that being said, have either of you gentlemen ever put anybody away via jury? You're a
no.
lawyer, Jason.
No.
So,
Nope.
No.
unfortunately, I have.
Like put away
Could you get closer to the
permanently?
microphone, please?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Here we go. So, I didn't put him away to the Green Mile, or didn't assist putting him away to the Green Mile. But yes, unfortunately, I was part of a jury that sent a man to prison for the rest of his life. And I still feel badly about that, but all the evidence was just there. And I feel badly about that to this day, but
Well, I think that's the sign of the correct person to be on a jury is somebody who can say, this is a difficult decision. This is not an easy decision. This is really tough, but the evidence says,
yes, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Even his DA, and tell me about this, Jason. His DA confirmed he was guilty, like after everything was over.
his defense attorney, not his
District attorney.
Yeah, the
His defense,
yeah,
his
yeah,
defense
yeah,
attorney,
yeah.
yes, I'm sorry, I'm using the wrong terms. But
He actually did. Jesus.
He was like,
wow.
Because we were like, listen.
You're not
like,
supposed to do that.
Not technically.
You're
no.
really not supposed to.
I won't
Yeah.
dox anybody. I won't list anybody.
No,
like
yeah,
I won't mention it.
You're not
What is
supposed to
that?
do that.
Attorney-client privilege, perhaps?
It's
A
that.
little bit.
Well, and also technically, you're not. When you defend somebody, you're defending them, and you're not supposed to assist somebody in committing a crime.
No, exactly. So
Yeah.
at the end, they did this process that I wasn't aware of, where the defense attorney came in along with prosecutor, and they interviewed us as the jury. I didn't know that was a
Yeah, they
thing.
do that.
Well, the defense attorney, and I wasn't even the one who asked. Somebody goes, "Dude, seriously, come on, did he do it?" And the defense attorney was like, "Yeah, he did it."
Yeah.
And-
There's a lot of defense attorneys that will do that. I was in.
Why?
Well, I was in a case once. I was working for the judge, so I wasn't.
Yeah,
I wasn't.
your
on,
hands are a little more tied.
Well, I wasn't on one side or the other, and the guy was convicted of murder, and I'll never forget. The jury came back. They all said this was in Florida, and the foreman, the foreperson, says guilty. Mm-hmm. And the judge then polls every juror and says, juror number 1, did you vote guilty? Juror number 2, juror number 3. And we got to the last juror. And the last juror, I'll never, ever forget. He sits there and he goes, and he's like rocking his head back and forth. And he finally says, yes.
Oh, and I feel for him. I really do, because
And the guy was guilty as sin. The evidence was
Let's clear that up right now.
Well,
Yeah.
the evidence was overwhelming that the guy was guilty. And the defendant, because as soon as the word guilty is out, I mean, like instantly, there's a deputy behind you that stands your ass up, puts handcuffs on you, and takes your ass out.
yeah.
And as the defendant, now the convicted defendant, is going out, he looks at at his lawyer, and he says, "You see that one? That one hesitated." And the defense attorney, I'll never forget, he goes, "Yeah, they do that."
Oh my God! Like, and don't get me wrong.
Because here's the thing: there was a saying in law school, when you're a defense attorney, and the guy says, "They found me guilty. What happens now?" And the defense attorney says, in this hypothetical law school situation, he says, "You go to jail, I go home."
Jesus. Yeah. So I hope
It's a
I made
job.
you gentlemen
It's a
cry
job.
with this movie.
I did. I wept a tear. I even tried to get a picture of my eye with a tear coming out. Yeah. Tom Hanks movies often move
Tom Hanks
me.
is brilliant.
You know what movie makes me cry, which will blow your mind? Apollo 13.
Oh, every time.
He's the leading man
I
in
weep
Jason.
openly at that film.
But you know what's funny is that if you watch all of From the Earth to the Moon, Apollo 13 suddenly isn't quite as good as it was, because Tom Hanks did such a fucking good job.
It's like he gets better with age. I don't know how he does
it's like he
it,
did
but
Apollo
he does.
13, and then he did From the Earth to the Moon, and it's so incredible that Apollo 13 is actually not quite as good.
Show them my notes, Jason, because I proved your point. At the top of
There
the
it
page. Jason was right. Tom Hanks is a leading man.
He is.
He totally
Well,
is.
my friend Ed Hyland did a film with Tom Hanks, and he said he's like the coolest guy you'd ever meet.
I bet.
He's just
can
sitting
only
down, and he comes up. He says, "Hi, my name's Tom. What's your name?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "My name's Ed."
I forgot.
I kind of knew you. Were Tom. I knew you were Tom.
See, but all the people, not that I've worked with many, but I did get the chance to work with Lisa Kudrow on the set of Table 19, and she was the only actress who actually ate lunch with everyone out in the tent, with the buffet, and Lisa Kudrow is cool AF.
She seems like she would be cool.
Yeah.
She is. She's
All right,
amazing.
We are so
we're gonna
far,
wrap.
far
Yes.
over. We got to bring this home.
We have to. So, hindsighters, Darth hoped that she made not just the boys cry, but all of you cry, except for you, Angel. Lo siento mucho. We love you. And thank you for shouting out to us every week the way that you do. But we're glad that Percy wound up in, a mental institution. We're glad that Sam Rockwell died in this movie, because holy shit, he was horrible. But this was Darth's pick to make the boys cry. Hopefully it worked. They're probably just going to go and cry alone at home, not in front of me. But
you don't have any place to hide now.
Oh no, that was our last bulwark.
This was it.
bulwark, nice.
This was it.
It was the last
There
defense.
is no place to hide.
Because hindsighters, we are coming to the ending of making each other cry with our episodes. Now, Adam and I must face
Endure,
the
I
holy
believe.
mountain.
Oh man.
That evil. So
God help
we're
us all.
probably
How do
gonna
they
be,
do that?
We're probably going to be tearing up the next time you see us, like just from the first of the episode, right out
Let
of
me
the
ask you
starting
this:
gate.
Have either of you bought the
No.
movie yet?
We haven't
No,
tried.
I'm afraid.
I've been trying to put it off as long as I could.
I tried to get you. So, gentlemen, did this movie? I know Adam
It did.
said it made him
Yes.
cry. Did you cry, Jason?
I
the
didn't
green line.
only because I've seen it before and
You knew what to expect.
This movie is such a piece of cinema.
It is.
It is
It's
beautiful.
worth watching.
that
Absolutely.
it's almost like I can't watch it not thinking that I'm sitting in the audience watching great actors perform a play. It's
They all do such a fantastic
it's so
job.
good.
Even
Even
down to
Percy.
Percy.
yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
even
no,
Percy.
yeah, to his credit.
He's
yeah,
a great
to his
actor.
credit.
Oh,
Yeah.
you hate
and
it.
still
Like,
acting.
you genuinely
You do,
hate it.
but yeah,
like, he does a
exactly.
great job.
Yeah.
And Mr. Jingles, Oscar-winning
Jingles.
performance.
He was the best. Even at the very end when
Yeah.
he was in the little box, he was so cute.
I mean, that was great.
It touched me.
He spins his
Either
Jingles.
way, the next time that you see us, hindsighters,
Darth Jader is probably going to be in a straitjacket, kind of like Percy and Sam Rockwell. It's going to be horrible. So get excited.
good. So we're gonna start rolling the previews.
Oh my God,
Soon.
there's previews?
Oh no.
I'll be advertising those.
I
The
wasn't aware
trailer
either.
for the Holy Mountain,
So
yes.
the most painful movie ever made.
So, hindsighters, gird your loins because Adam and I are having to do the same. So, in the meantime, thank you for joining us for your drive time, your listening time, your John Coffee time, your Percy spitting out bugs time. We don't care what kind of time. Green Mile time. We really appreciate it. This has been Darth, Adam, and Jason with Hindsight, and good night.